Ladies and gents, the transfer window has been open 5 days, but we may be very, very close to getting our first January transfer bomber. Manchester City still trying to get Semenyo over the line, whose release clause will be expiring in just 5 days' time. It expires January the 10th, then it will go down to 55 million in the summer. Bournemouth want to keep hold of him, of course. They're struggling. They're potentially getting dragged into a relegation battle when he's so important for them. But Manchester City want to get the deal done. Not only that, Manchester City, according to Sammy Mockbell, is very reliable. They're now looking at Marc Guehi, who's been linked to Liverpool heavily last summer, linked to Arsenal in recent weeks, linked to Spurs, linked to Newcastle. A lot of top clubs want to sign him. Will they get that deal done? And a very surprising piece of business, according to transfernews.com, Steve Kay, who's a very reliable transfer journalist, does a lot of stuff with Anfield Watch, transfers.com, Court Offside. He has said that Livramento could be on his way to Arsenal. They're monitoring him. Now, I know what a lot of people are going to be thinking. Do Arsenal need a right back? The only way I see Livramento going to Arsenal is if Ben White goes. Now, if Ben White goes, fair enough. That could be a very, very, very good signing for them. Heavily linked with Manchester City in the summer. Of course, they've got Núñez playing at right back after Kyle Walker left. Again, we're going to break it down. Make sure you go down and drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button. As it stands, we are less than 500 away from 87,000, and 90% of you, yes, you, who watch every single day have not subscribed. So please go down, hit that subscribe button, get over to the second channel as well. Loads of Spurs news coming out. Why has Frank not been sacked? Speaking of sackings, we dropped a video earlier on the channel. Ruben Amorim sacked by Manchester United. I mean, the news is coming left, right, and centre. So much content for you to get your fingers in. Get your fingers in? Probably not the best way to say it, but you know what I meant. Get your teeth into. That's what I meant. Not get your fingers in. Yeah, let's just move on. Let's just move on before we get cancelled. Right. Steve Kane for transfers.com has said Arsenal are monitoring Newcastle fullback Tino Livramento. England international has emerged as one of the top targets for the Gunners. No decision yet on whether a move will be attempted in January. Now, I'm a big fan of Livramento. We've done a lot of Newcastle content on this channel. A hell of a lot throughout the years. Big fan of their midfield. I like Tonali. I like Bruno G. I like Joelinton. Now, this is the lineup that Arsenal played against Bournemouth in their 3-2 win, right? Now, I personally believe Jurrien Timber is the best right back in the league alongside Reece James. Now, the only way I see Arsenal going in for Livramento is purely if Ben White leaves. That, for me, it will be the only way he comes in. Now, I'll also be honest with you, he's not going to be cheap. He's probably going to be in the region of, I would imagine, £50 million. Now, are they going to spend 50 million on a backup right back? I don't necessarily know. Now, Miley, young midfielder, coming out of Newcastle's ranks into the 11, looks a top player, has been playing at right back. Now, this was the team that played against Crystal Palace. And as you can see, Livramento come on in the 63rd minute. So he's not starting as it stands over 19-year-old Miley. Now, in terms of the minutes for Livramento today, he has only played 1,004 minutes this season. He's only played in 12 games, which I find really, really interesting. Now, of course, he has had injuries, but if you compare that compared to last season, these are his minutes here from Transfer Market. As you can see, 1,004 minutes. Last year, 1,306 minutes across 26 games. Injuries may be a concern. At Southampton, 2,200. At Newcastle, before that, 2,843 last season. He played 37 games. Years before that, 26. If Ben White leaves, which potentially he could leave, then maybe. But I don't necessarily see this as a realistic transfer option. I could be wrong. His contract expires June 30th, 2028. Now, as you can see on the right-hand side, he's a versatile player. He can play left back. He can play right back. I don't necessarily think he can play midfield, but that's exactly what Mikel Arteta wants. Versatile, young, attacking players. Now, Ben White, for me, probably is the better right back. Ben White has got injury concerns. He is 5 years older. His current contract expires on the same day as Livramento. There is an option for a further year. But again, he's falling out of favour at Arsenal because of Yuri Timber's recent performances in the last year. So maybe if Ben White goes, bring Livramento in. But we know Manchester City have been heavily interested in him for a number of years. I don't necessarily see him coming in this window to play backup to Yuri Timber, when at the moment he's currently playing backup to to Miley. Now, this was a tweet that was back in December last month, and it says Man City are considering a £65 million bid for Newcastle United's Livramento and could include Trafford in the deal. I think it's much more likely that he goes and joins a team for that type of money and plays first team football. The only way for me it happens is if, Ben White leaves. What is interesting, though, is there's been a lot of rumours about moving Lewis Skelly into a midfield role. So could he come in and play back up and help out at left back and right back? Because that, for me, is probably more realistic. But then you've also got to take into account that they have got Nkapie, who can play at left back as well. So I don't necessarily think that is, as it stands, massively realistic. Now, what's very, very interesting is Sammy Mockbell today, while we're on the subject of Manchester City, tweeted out saying Manchester City are exploring a move for Guehi. Now, January follows injuries to Ruben Diaz and Vardy. No final decision from City over formal approach, but interest has accelerated. Liverpool and Bayern Munich are also interested. That, for me, is a big, big signing for Manchester City, because that is where they need to strengthen. I don't particularly rate their centre-backs. Look, they're good, but are they good to get enough and go and win the league? I'm not necessarily sure. Vardy, I really like as a centre-back. But Ruben Diaz, in recent years, I don't think is as good as what they've had recently. He's not a Vincent Kompany, for instance, in recent years. You look at the backup centre-backs, they've got Kuzanov, who can play there. Ake, I think his better days are past him, and that's really it. Centre-back Stones is always injured, so they do need to bring in a centre-back. That was the lineup that played against Chelsea in yesterday's 1-1 draw. Now, Guehi going to City is a big, big signing. If they bring in Semenyo and Guehi, then I genuinely think that will be the turning point, because they have to fix something. If Vardy's injury is long-term, which it looks like it could be, and Diaz is out for a few weeks, you can't be lining up with Kuzanov and who's going to go in the back line? Probably Riley, maybe Ake and Kuzanov against, in the Manchester derby that they've got coming up really, really soon. And what's also interesting is you look at their next 8 or 9 games, City, and it isn't easy. Brighton in recent years have got one over them. Newcastle away in the Cup is a tough place to go. Manchester derby, they're going to have a new manager by then. Maybe it's Darren Fletcher, maybe it's someone else. That is not 3 easy games. Exeter, of course, they'll blow away. Bodo, they'll blow away, and Wolves are terrible. So they have to get things moving and get things moving fast. In terms of Yildiz, he, for whatever reason, keeps getting linked to Arsenal. Now, this is what Give Me Sport have put out. Arsenal are eyeing a move to sign Juventus star Yildiz. Here it is. Let me bring it up on the screen. Here we go. Boom. Arsenal want to sign future Ballon d'Or winner as Semenyo alternative. And he says Arsenal are eyeing up a move to sign Juventus star after passing on a move to sign Enter Semenyo, according to the Daily Mail. The Gunners have had a remarkable campaign and sit top spot of the Premier League. Mikel is considered to have one of the strongest squads in Europe, but the North London club are looking to the rest of their laurels heading into the new year after deciding against competing for Bournemouth star Anton Semenyo's signature. They're eyeing a move for a different forward instead. I believe Yildiz could be the game changer. And what I mean by that is Arsenal fans should be excited at the possibility of Yildiz signing, because for me, one of the most exciting talents in Serie A right now. He's only on 56,000 euros a week, which is about £48,000. You know for a fact Arsenal can improve that. 6 goals, 4 assists in the league, 1 goal, 3 assists in the Champions League at 20 years of age. Can play 10, can play 8, can play on the right, can play on the left. This is the sort of signing that Arsenal should be making. I don't necessarily think Livramento is realistic right now. I think that is a lot of money for a backup player when they've already got options aside. And what's really, really interesting is there's no pressure on Arsenal now for me. All the pressure is on Manchester City. I believe Brighton potentially could get something against them Wednesday night due to the defensive injuries. And if they draw that game and they're on 43 points and Arsenal go and beat Liverpool and Arsenal are on 51, they could be 8 points clear, which at this stage of the season is huge. Equally for Liverpool, they can't afford to lose against them. You know, oh, wow. Breaking news while we are recording this. Oh, wow. Rob Dawson from the ESPN has said Manchester City confirm Josko Vardiel has suffered a tibial fracture to his right leg. So he's going to be out for at least 3 or 4 weeks. So they have to bring a centre back in. No if, buts, or maybes. They have to. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you next time. I'm out.